These houses have been evacuated once. They should never have to be evacuated again.
We think that there are portions in this declaration area that are habitable now and that could be reused or reoccupied while the work is going on.
The highly emotional saga of Love Canal continues. It first exploded into the headlines back in 1977 when chemical migration was discovered in nearby yards and homes. The area was declared a federal disaster, and eventually 227 homes in Rings 1 and 2 were evacuated and subsequently demolished. The battle arena has shifted to an additional 550 homes in a 10-block neighborhood outside of Rings 1 and 2 believed unsafe. 422 of these homes have been purchased by the government-created entity called the Love Canal Revitalization Agency, which is hoping to resell these homes and move families back into the Love Canal neighborhood. The contamination controversy was brought to a head during a February state legislative hearing in Buffalo, presided by Assemblyman Maurice Hinchey, chairman of the Assembly's Committee on Environmental Conservation.
To my knowledge, there is no mechanism in place to provide that the canal site itself and the land occupied by the 2 rings of homes surrounding it be constantly safeguarded against future leakage. I am also deeply concerned about the comments of the 11-member scientific panel which was chosen by the Centers for Disease Control to critique the EPA report. 9 of the 11 members had doubts of varying degrees concerning the report that raise significant, legitimate questions regarding the appropriateness of rehabiting Love Canal area at this time.
We believe our presentation of scientific studies and the opinion is accurate, and the methodology that we use is sound. The hydrogeologic program results demonstrated that there is little potential for migration of contaminants from Love Canal into the declaration area. Except for some apparently isolated pockets of shallow system groundwater contamination located immediately adjacent to the former canal, no general pattern of contamination was found in the shallow system. Furthermore, no significant shallow system groundwater contamination attributable directly to migration from Love Canal was found outside of Ring 1 in the canal area.
The federal government, contrary to popular belief, has not declared the area to be habitable. In fact, the United States Department of Health and Human Services has stated that the Love Canal neighborhood will not be habitable unless 2 important conditions are met. Habitability has been conditioned upon 2 conditions, 2 things, 2 important steps to be done. There must be extensive further remedial work to address the contamination in the area, and there must be permanent safeguards against future leakage of deadly chemicals.
Well, I think we get into a question of how do you read the statements that the Health and Human Services have put as part of the EPA report. There's certainly room for different people to interpret what they said 2 ways.
It's more or less a case of semantics, then.
I think so, I really do. I know that he feels that the area would not be habitable, according to what they say, until all the work has been finished. And we maintain that we think that there are portions in this declaration area that are habitable now and that could be reused or reoccupied while the work is going on.
Neither the work done to date at Love Canal nor the proposed Superfund work will achieve or is intended to achieve these objectives, namely total containment and cleanup. It is important to understand that the actual cleanup of the sewers, creeks, and outfall will not be achieved under the current $7 million Superfund grant. Nor will the extensive monitoring program, which is required at Love Canal, be implemented by the existing grant. It will only be formulated. In other words, the cleanup and monitoring requirements which qualified the HHS conclusion of habitability are not met by the current Superfund commitment?
He talks in kind of a technical reference. One of the things he's saying, of course, is that the work that the state has the funds for now is not all the work. The actual cleanup of the creek and the storm sewers is a construction contract that the state has not yet applied for Superfund money. So he's saying because you don't have it in your hand, there's always the possibility you may not get it. But I don't really think that's the case. We see now that the Environmental Protection Agency is getting an awful lot of pressure from the Congress and, for that matter, from our neighbors across the river. So I think that the federal government has a commitment here to identify and take care of a problem, which is going to be done.